welcome back to my channel. I appreciate you guys tuning in today. This is more of a somber story. It hits pretty close to home for me. I don't normally do videos where I talk about the stupid things that people do with their cars. I'm usually one to mind my own business. I don't really, whether I agree or disagree with what people do with their own property is it's usually just none of my business. I don't really like to talk about it, but this one in particular hit home for me. Now, I'm not going to name any names in this story. It is a public news story, so if you want more details, it's easily found under a Google search. But a 17-year-old kid was drag racing a Ram TRX against a Lexus, and there's footage of them drag racing, but the accident itself wasn't captured on camera. So, I'm not 100% sure what caused the accident, but it looks like the kid in the T-Rex lost control, and he completely destroyed the T-Rex. Now, he was killed in the accident, and like I said, I'm not going to name this kid's name. My condolences to his family. But the T-Rex was completely destroyed. The driver, which was the 17-year-old kid, he was killed in the accident. The story I read said that there were 6 total people in the accident. So there was some other teenagers in the vehicle with him, and the owner of the Lexus was injured but not killed. Street racing is inherently dangerous, even if you're an adult, even if you're a professional street racer. It's one of those things where you probably shouldn't do it. It's illegal, number one, but number two, you're going to put your life on the line for a thrill. I just don't understand that. I drive fast cars, but I'm responsible. And I also have teenage daughters. And my teenage daughters, they like to joke around, oh, I'm going to drive the Hellcat for my driver's test, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that. There's no way I would put my daughters behind the wheel of a 707 horsepower Charger that sits just a few inches off the ground, much less a 702 horsepower super truck that sits a couple of feet off the ground. There's just no way. Now, it's like I said, it's not any of my business, the decisions that people make with their children. I just don't understand who gives the keys to a 702 horsepower super truck to a teenager who's out driving it at 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. I know what I was doing at 17 years old, and I only had an 87 Ford Thunderbird that would barely run, and I would dog the shit out of it. I could only imagine what someone would do at 17 years old with no adult supervision behind the wheels of the most powerful truck in the world. It blows my mind that a 17-year-old would have the keys to one of these trucks. I just don't understand it. There's a reason rental companies won't give you a rental car unless you're 25 years of age, in my experience. We don't make smart decisions behind the wheel of a car most of the time at 17 years old. Of course, there are exceptions to the rule, but if history has told us anything, as children, we don't make the smartest decisions. When I was in high school, my next door neighbor got killed in a car accident. They were in a Mustang, and one of the guys, the driver, lost control, tore the car into 3 pieces, and his cousin was killed, and the cousin was my next door neighbor. I can't tell you the number of times that the local junkyard would put cars out front that were just completely destroyed to show examples of what would happen to a teenager who doesn't drive responsibly. And so I can only imagine, could you imagine being 17 years old and your parents giving you the keys to a 702 horsepower super truck? That is, at 17 you just don't have the fortitude to drive it responsibly. It's crazy. There's no way I would give the keys to my child, 17 years old. I have 13 and 14-year-old daughters. One of them's about to be 15. So she's going to take driver's ed this coming year. we're going to have to buy a 4-cylinder car for her to test, just for us to teach her to drive. There's no way she would get behind the wheel of the 392 Durango, much less the Charger, the Hellcat Charger. It's not going to happen. Folks, you got to make smarter decisions when it comes to what you do for your kids. It's your business, but 702 horsepower super truck and a 17-year-old's out drag racing it at 1:30 in the morning, completely destroys it, and now his life is over, and it's just so sad. It's so sad, and it's entirely preventable. I wanted to share this information with you guys. I actually saw the story about a week ago, and I debated whether or not I was going to post it, but it's important to me. I'm a big fan of the truck, of the T-Rex. I'm also a parent, and you know, it blows my mind that, you know, kids driving a super truck unsupervised at 1:30 in the morning. What do you think kids are going to do when they get behind the wheel and their parents aren't around? It's crazy to me. I appreciate you guys watching. Y'all take it easy.